Lisa and Angie are not backing down from taking each other down. It's about to get so real. We're breaking it all down in today's recap.
But I'll be on it always, always and ever.
Hey! Thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome to my Queen Cave. My name is Shelby, Queen of the Queen Cave. In here, I drop recaps and reviews of my favorite TV shows and movies. I will be getting into commentary videos when I can. I'm just trying to get into the flow of adding 2 videos a week with the Housewives show, so I am gonna add those into my pipeline, and I am still working on my Pam Grier video for my deep dive into Black history and Black culture. If that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe. You already know the deal. Today we are recapping The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 5, The Salt Lake City Suit Man. We open at Whitney's house and she's getting a flower arrangement together for invitations to send to the girls. She wants to gather everyone together for wine tasting and lunch, and she's trying to restore some more positivity in the group. I think that the invitations are super cute, but I was extremely thrown off when she started singing. I was like, what is going on? And I'm just reminded back to Ashley. Please tell me that you guys agree. Whitney is the Ashley of Salt Lake City. They're the exact same. They're messy, they can't sing, and it's just outrageous that they even try. We get to Whitney's event right in the next scene, and as the girls start to arrive, Mary comes out of the car and she's like, why would Whitney have her event at this location? The person that owned the property before killed his wife and himself in front of his dog and left the dog with PTSD. Lisa arrives surprisingly, and she says that she wants to support Whitney, but she wants nothing to do with Angie, and she's still really upset about her comments about Jack. And Meredith, she says she hasn't even spoke to Whitney since Angie dropped those bombs on her the last time they met up, but she does intend to confront her at the lunch. Whitney gets the girls together for a toast, and she just explains to them, recently she just realized she hasn't been happy, she lost her spark and that free-spirited version of herself, and she's on a version to get back to that. And she just explains that when Justin lost his job, that made her want to get to a more reserved version of herself. That's when she went into business and she got real business focused. So she lost part of herself that she wants to really get back to. She then says she booked a psychic to come do readings for the girls. And Mary is like, no, I don't play with that. I'm not doing that. I'm skipping that. And I'm like, exactly. The God I serve, yeah, says we should be getting far away from anyone that's doing any witchcraft of sorts of that nature. So I would skip on that too. So when it comes to the readings that they're doing, I skipped all of that and I'm gonna skip them in the recap as well. Next, plus on top of that, we can't trust any reading quote that's being done from this person any fucking way, because you can get all the information, essentially all the information he is asking the girls or the readings he gives the girls is derived from what we already saw on the show. So it's just like, they take the reading so serious and they're like, how did he know that? He watches the show. Like, I was like, this is such bullshit. I was like, anyway, I'm glad we skipped it, but I wanted to make that note. That was so fraudulent. Why bring a person on here, claim he does readings, blah, blah, blah. Everything that he said was stuff that we've already seen or you could easily get from the internet. So I thought the whole thing was dumb anyway. As the girls are admiring the location, Angie makes a comment she would love to move somewhere that has wide open spaces, is a wine country, has animals, XYZ, and she makes a comment or a joke that one of the girls could buy her house. And Brittany asks her, she's like, oh, do you have your house listed? And Angie's like, yeah. And Brittany's like, well, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm a real estate agent. And Angie's like, well, that's because my godson's mother is my real estate agent, and I just met you. So why would I be entrusting you to have my house listing? Like, what is your problem? And Brittany, like, for some reason, I don't know if she gets offended or she gets upset or whatever because Angie didn't tell her, but now she's making all these like negative comments like, oh, the price went down a few times. That's not good. I was like, Brittany, why are you trying to start shit? This is your problem. You start shit with people and then you get mad when they come back for you and you can't take it. You dish it, but you can't take it. So Angie's like, what is your deal? You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And now Brittany gets offended. She's like, how are you gonna tell me I don't know what I'm talking about? This is my profession. That is so disrespectful. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you have all this shit to say. Why do you care? So now they're going back and forth about which zip code is most prestigious, because Angie makes a comment about her house being in the most prestigious neighborhood. And so how is Brittany gonna tell her what is good and what's not good for the price listing? So as they're going back and forth, Brittany says that Jared is calling her, and Whitney asks her, like, I thought we had the conversation that you were gonna wait 30 days. And Brittany is like, yeah, I couldn't wait 24 hours. So the relationship with your daughter means nothing then. I hope your daughter is seeing this, because the fact that you really do not care enough about that relationship to stop fooling around with the likes of Jared, your man, quote, is showing enough how much of a deadbeat mom you are. But I guess that was already clear when we first found out they stopped talking to you eons ago. Whitney gets messy as fuck, and she tells the girls, well, Jared actually came to my house to talk to Justin, and he told him that he feels like he's been really good to you, and you only use him to pay for vacation and luxury bags. And Brittany is like, what? That's what he said? And I was like, wow. The man that you claim loves you so much and is such a gentleman to you made a house call, went all the way to Justin and Whitney's house to tell him in person that you basically use him for money and you guys only get back together when you want to go on vacations? Interesting. Brittany then gets real emotional, and she's mad that he's trying to paint her out to be a gold digger. And in her confessional, she's like, he may have picked up a tab a few times or got me a luxury bag or did this or that, but that's not the same thing. And I'm thinking, then what is it? Because you guys aren't in a real relationship, Brittany. If we're going to be so for real, if you guys are, I don't hear anything else other than what he pays for and where you guys go, anything other than that. I think that is Brittany's love language, is gift giving. So when Jared gives her gift, she thinks that he's in love with her. There's no other like emotional confirmation, physical confirmation, nothing. No respect confirmation, nothing. She thinks because he spends money on her, he loves her. Like, she has some diluted concept of love and she needs help. She needs to go see the lady immediately. But she's now crying and everyone is just like, okay, yeah, next. They don't give a damn. So the psychic arrives, Brittany goes first, and meanwhile back at the table, Meredith now confronts Lisa. She's asking her if what Angie said was true. And Lisa up front, Lisa goes, no, I have no idea what this is about. And then she looks over at Angie and she's like, but I'm sure Satan does. And I was like, damn, why are we going with the name calling that low? And now she's talking to Meredith and she goes, I've been trying really hard to be a really good friend to you, Meredith, over these last few years. And with you, Angie, I've been doing the best job of making sure I do not say anything bad about Meredith to you. So whatever you told Meredith is a lie. Heather's looking down the table like, hello? She's really confused why Meredith is just letting Lisa off the hook like that, when in the past, she crashed out over Jen liking a tweet that was saying something negative against Meredith. So it's like, for you to get wind that Lisa told Angie to dig up dirt on you and your family, and you don't believe her, you don't probe, you don't even have any benefit of the doubt that that could be true because Lisa has a track record of doing that. Heather is like, what the fuck is that? And on that, I'm just like, why don't you say that to the table at the time, Heather? You're scary ass. You want to come into the confessional. Side note, I think the confessional is just another way to talk behind somebody's back when you don't have the balls to say it to their face. Like, if we're going to be real, most of the messy stuff that comes from people that don't say things in the moment is always happening in the confessionals. They don't ever say it to your face. So it's like, for Heather to now be having all this to say about, why would Meredith just let Lisa off the hook like that and not say anything and not hold her accountable at X, Y, and Z? I'm kind of just like, first of all, if you guys are friends, why are you Why is the first thing in your mind to just go and believe what Angie is saying when it's something that is going against your friend? If you guys are friends, shouldn't you give her more of the benefit of the doubt that maybe that could be a lie to stir up some drama, like anything? Like, I know she says Lisa has a track record, but I'm saying if that's your friend, the first thing you're doing is not like immediately believing what everyone else is saying, because you're working on your friendship and you're seeing that person in a different light. You're giving them a chance to grow and be better. So I find it interesting that Heather is immediately jumping on board to believe this. And then also, it kind of makes me feel like for her to be upset that Meredith doesn't hold Lisa accountable, quote, or she doesn't press the issue more, kind of makes me feel like Heather enjoys seeing Lisa in the hot seat. Because otherwise, why do you care so much? It had nothing to do with you, Heather. So why are you mad that Meredith is not holding Lisa's feet to the fire over what Angie said? Okay. Angie explains she only brought that information to Meredith after Lisa got petty and sent her assistant over to collect the rest of Jack's dusty-ass products at the bottom of her shelf. Angie then refers back to the text messages Lisa sent her about her using someone else's credit card to go on vacation and then writing checks to pay them back when she gets back home. And then she pulls out her wallet, takes out her Platinum, Visa, American Express credit cards, throws them at Lisa and tells her, "Count my cash, bitch." And I'm just like, oh. she's coming out with receipts, and Lisa doesn't know what to say. She's just stunned, and she keeps telling her, yeah, whatever, Angie, I don't care about any of that. And as she's throwing them on the ground, Mary's like, "Pick these up, what are you doing?" Angie then threatens to go over the table and pull Lisa's ears back further than her facelift already has, and then she tells her she looks like she went through a wind tunnel. I was like, damn, Lisa, because I know Lisa is as vain as she is. She cares so much about her face, so I know that hurt deep. Lisa and Angie are still going back and forth. Whitney is trying to get them to stop, and as they're going back and forth, Bronwyn starts crying because she got a negative reading from the psychic. It's something about her mom and needing some type of surgery with her brain, something like that. I skipped it. So she's upset about that. And now Meredith is screaming for the girls to stop arguing so they can comfort Bronwyn. And Bronwyn is telling the girls both of her parents are having health issues. Their health is declining rapidly. So it's just a reminder that life is short. Don't say these negative low blow things to each other, XYZ. And the girls don't listen to anything she said. They go right back to arguing. And Bronwyn is like, okay, fuck it. I don't care anymore. When Angie makes a comment that Lisa's boyfriend, her alleged side meat, shops at Nordstrom, Lisa then asks Angie, "What about the soup man?"
Who?
And Angie's like, "Who's the soup man?" And I'm like, "Who's the soup man, Angie?" And in her confessional, when she's asked about it, Lisa says something about a man named Terrence. So it'll be interesting to get some more details on that. So now the girls go off to the side. It's Lisa, Whitney, and Angie. Lisa tells Angie she believes she took a trip to Greece, used someone else's credit card, and then paid it back when she got back home. Whitney is then asking Lisa, how is that any different than you being accused of having some mystery side meat man pay for your Range Rover, your house renovations, and your facelift? And Lisa has nothing to say. She's stunned, and then she goes the childish route by saying, well, she started it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Lisa, come on. You don't have anything else to say because you know this is just a whole bunch of back and forth petty, bullshit at this point. They're literally talking about nothing. The same thing over and over and over again this entire episode. And it gets so redundant and boring and annoying. As Lisa goes off to get her reading, the girls try to get Angie to simmer down. And Mary tries to make the point to Angie. She goes, you didn't have an issue with Lisa doing all this digging up dirt when you guys were friends, but now that you guys are not friends, it's a problem? And I was like, ooh. She got you there, Angie. Lisa now comes back from her reading and she tells the girls she feels like it was accurate. And she's real surface level with it. She doesn't tell the girls any more details. She just goes, yep, it was accurate. It was good. And Whitney is questioning, why can't she just be more vulnerable with us? That's why we can't really connect with her. She's so surface level with everything. So Whitney asks her, she goes, so what did it say about friendship? And Lisa gonna talk about it says that I often give a lot of myself to people and I often get burned in the end. And I was like, lies.
lies.
There you go. This bitch. I'm
lies.
telling you.
That reading had nothing to do with friendship. It only had to do with John and her and their communication and their marriage. Nothing with friendship. So lies detected. So now Meredith goes in for her reading. Lisa is asking Angie, so do you feel bad for any of the things that you said about me? And Angie's like, you made some nasty comments about me too. Like, what about that? They then go back and forth over who started the low blows first. That gets Lisa so pissed off. She gets up. She tells Angie she has thin skin. She's jealous of her. She needs to learn how to apologize correctly. And then as she's on the way out the door with Whitney trying to get her to come back, she says, and I don't have a facelift. I was like, interesting that you didn't say that over there where everyone else can hear that, Lisa. It was real quiet because everything else was, you're jealous of me, X, Y, and Z. But now when it comes to the facelift thing, you are saying it's so far away from everyone else. And when it was said originally, you didn't say anything about it. You didn't even address it. No, nothing. So I find it interesting. If you had a facelift, just say that. Because it's clearly obvious from last season to this season, you have a new face. Now Lisa is going towards the exit and Mary chases her down, tries to get her to calm down. Lisa's still going off saying that Angie is a jealous bitch. And now Angie is going inside to get the gift that she brought to the event. And when she brings it outside, it's this big Tupperware thing. She opens it. It's all the gifts that Lisa got her and her family over the years, coming to return them back to Lisa as her own little petty jab at her for sending her assistant over to get Jack's hair care line stuff. Lisa now comes back over to the group and she says that Angie is just jealous that she's working with Kerastas and threatens to call the CEO to tell her that Angie is jealous that they're working together. Like, the petty back and forth just continues and it's so childish, it's so immature, and it's like not even fun to watch. The whole episode, I don't know if it was just me, but the whole episode I was like, this is so stupid. Like, whatever they're going back and forth about, you're jealous, you're petty, you're this, you're that. It was like watching two girls fight in high school. And it was so juvenile to me. I was like, this is so stupid. But they went back and forth over the dumbest thing the entire time. Lisa then turns to Angie and she says she never degraded her family, so she didn't understand why she had to take it to that level. And Angie's like, but you did degrade my business. And Bronwyn tries to cut in, trying to tell the both of them just to stop doing the back and forth. They both should apologize and move on. But Lisa's not having it. She gets pissed off. She tells Angie she's done with her, and then now she officially leaves. And on the other hand, Angie is sitting there crying, and now she's throwing the toys that Lisa bought Electra, and she breaks one of them. And now Mary tries to go over to Angie. She's trying to tell her it's not that deep. Calm down. Like, I don't know why you're getting this worked up over Lisa and all this bullshit. Like, you just need to let it go. Mary's trying to tell her, you know, you're stronger than this. You don't need to let her get under your skin like that. And Angie's like, I know I am, unlike the rest of you guys who've gone back to being friends with her after all the nasty things she said about you. And Mary's like, what? What did you say to me? And Angie's like, you went back to her after she said all those nasty things about you. And Mary's like, I'm done with you. And she walks off and she's all pissed off. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm confused. Is anyone else confused? Why are you so upset, Mary, that she said that? Like, to the point where you're ending the friendship? I think that's a little bit too far, in my opinion, because it's like, she didn't say anything like insulting or like disrespectful, in my opinion. She's really just saying like, everyone else went back to being friends with her after she said all these nasty things about you guys. So it's just like, why are you guys making me try to be her friend, knowing that she's over here saying all these low-blow things about me? So I don't know if Mary's like upset because Angie is mad, because Mary says in her confessional, she says, you're not gonna be mad at me for not being mad at Lisa because you're mad at Lisa. I don't know if she's more of upset because of that, because she feels like Angie wants her to be like a yes man lapdog type of thing. Like, if I'm mad at her, so do you type of childish bullshit they be on. But I was confused as to why Mary thought she needed to end the friendship completely. I feel like Mary cannot afford to not have any friends on the show. She's already a loner by choice. So it's just like, I feel like Angie was a good friend to her from what we saw, so I hope they can work that out, but I didn't think it was necessary to end the friendship. Now Angie is crying and she's like sobbing and she's trying to defend herself, and the girls try to tell her not to sink down to Lisa's level, X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden Brittany goes, Jared's texting me. He's been texting me this whole time.
We do not care.
And what the fuck? So now Jared is calling, and Bronwyn answers the phone, and she asks him, so do you pay Brittany's bills? And Jared goes, from time to time. And Brittany's like, how could you say that? Oh my gosh. And Bronwyn then tells Jared, oh, it's over. And she hangs up on him. And then she turns to Brittany and she goes, if you're going to be considered a gold digger, you can do way better than him. So that's where the episode ends off. If we're going to be so real, I feel like, again, this episode was a filler episode. We didn't even leave Whitney's event. I feel like this was just something they wanted to throw in there because they didn't have anything else. Because the back and forth between Lisa and Angie, like I said, so childish and so just repetitive. It's just redundant. It's the same things over and over again. They're not talking about anything else. And I'm just like, we get no information on who the soup man is all of a sudden. And I'm just like, this gave us nothing. I feel like this episode was a waste. And I was like, this was so stupid. We got no answers. The whole thing between Meredith and Lisa was a dud. And I'm just like, okay, what did we get out of this? What are we walking away from? The only new development we got from the episode was Mary and Angie having some sort of a falling out. So it's just like nothing moved forward from here. We didn't get a resolution with Angie and Lisa, which I was not thinking we were going to get, but at least can we get like some progression in that conflict? We've gotten nothing new. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but I feel like this episode was low-key kind of boring. And I'm looking forward to the rest because they are giving us the teasers, and the teasers are looking so juicy and so good. So hopefully they can make up for it next episode and we can kind of get the ball rolling again. But let me know how you felt about this boring ass episode in the comments down below. Again, if you like this video and you like my content, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.